Hey there everyone, and welcome back to another weekly reading vlog. We are in the dog days of summer now and we are having more fun on the weekend, so I am struggling to keep up with my reading goals as much, but during the week we are going to try to start doing a bit more and try and get some of these arcs knocked off of my list. I don't actually have a ton going on this week, which is very nice, except for trying to wrap up my 5th semester of grad school, so hopefully we will do that in this video. And then also this weekend we are going on a trip with my book club, so I am really looking forward to this weekend and hanging out with them just in a new spot. But let's talk about the two books that I'm going to be reading in this video. First up, for my physical read, I'll be reading Emily Giffen's The Summer Pact, and I am really excited about this one. It comes out on July 9th, and it's already giving just really fun summer vibes. So, and I mean, like, the cover is perfect. So I am really looking forward to this one. I am already about 40 pages in, so not super far in, and it already has some really intense subjects, so I am definitely going to be recommending checking the trigger warnings before going in here, and luckily the author has already included them in the front of the book so you can check them out before going into it. But I am really looking forward to it and I'm already feeling extremely drawn to it, so I can't wait to talk to you all about this one. And then next, not on my June TBR, but I can't always control when my Libby holds come in and you just kind of have to go with it. So my hold came in for Starling House by Alex E. Harrow, and I am also about like 24 pages into it, so not very far at all, but I'm already loving the gothic vibes I'm getting from this, the like eerie house. It's perfect. I know it's not necessarily June, like fun summer, but I am so here for these vibes. So I am really looking forward to this. And I also saw that somebody posted there's only 100 days until fall. And so maybe I can just say this is in celebration of the 100 days mark. So those are the two books that I'll be starting with. I hope to read more. I think honestly I'm going to fly through the Summer Pact because I just have a little bit more time this week and I'm already kind of flipping through it, and I love advanced reader copies because they are so big and floppy and I feel like I'm just like rolling through it even faster. So I'm really looking forward to this one. And that is all I have for this intro, so let's get into the vlog. Quick transition change of scenery, and I'm going to tell you all about the two books that we're going to be reading in this video because I'm far enough in where I kind of understand what's going on and can give you all like an overview, but not far enough in to really have any thoughts yet. So let's talk about the two books. First, The Summer Pact by Emily Giffen. So I am now 56 pages into this, and a lot happened in the first couple of pages because we have these 4 friends who connect at college. It's actually set at the University of Virginia, which is fun because I'm from Virginia, you know, it's not that far. So these 4 friends meet and they have this entire college experience together, and then they get to their senior year and something extremely tragic happens and it kind of binds them through trauma and then their existing friendship for the rest of their lives. A year after this tragic event has happened, they are all kind of getting back together and they make this pact where if anything happens in their lives where they are feeling extremely low, they have decided that they are going to call on one another before they make any drastic decisions that are maybe permanent. So they are kind of just promising themselves that. Now we're a couple years in the future and something has happened to one of the main characters, and the friends kind of have to all come together. They know that this is kind of the low point, and so they are just trying to stick true to that pact. So they are getting the band back together in spite of this kind of really devastating thing that has happened. And so they are all flying in now, and I am really looking forward to it. It's fun because we have the different POVs of the characters, so I think we'll get to know all of them pretty personally, but also I'll say that it has been pretty heavy hitting starting out because obviously we had a pretty horrible thing happen that bound them together in college, and now we have another pretty horrible thing that's happened. But I think it's also very realistic because you can't really get through life without something pretty horrible happening to you every few years. I mean, if you're lucky you do, but I think it's very realistic in that aspect, and to be able to call on one another I think is really moving. So I'm looking forward to them all getting together and kind of just being friends, just experiencing life and just putting everything else to the side and remembering what's important, and that's their friendship and what they have to live for. So I think that this is really, really going to be a good time. I'm already really enjoying it, so I can't wait to tell you all more about this one. And I am equally as excited about my audiobook selection, which is Starling House. I'm way less into this, but we are following our main character, Opal. She is like 26 and she is the primary care provider for her younger brother, and she wants to get him out of this town. It's just a small town that doesn't really have a lot to give, and she is working to get there but also doesn't really have the funds or the experience to be able to work more than like a minimum wage job. So she is doing her best when she stumbles across Starling House, but it's not really a stumbling because she has always kind of been drawn to this house and the lore of it. One of her favorite books from her childhood is from the author, like the author of the book was in the Starling House, and she read it over and over again, and she feels like she dreams about this house. So she is drawn to it, and one day when she is just looking at it, the heir to the Starling House comes out and offers her a job, like cleaning the house. And so it is a lot more money than what she is getting now, and I think she's gonna take it, but I'm only 25 pages in. He just offered her the job. So I am intrigued to see what she finds out about this house because it does seem very eerie and like it has its own presence, and I love that. I read Mexican Gothic not too long ago, and like the house being like its own being and having its own draw and feelings I think is so interesting. So I cannot wait to get into this one and see what the secrets of the Starling House are and how our main female character kind of reacts to everything that she's gathering there. So those are the two books that we are focusing on, very different, obviously. And sorry for this weird lighting, but it is that time of day. So I am excited because I already finished my grad school work for the day, and all I have to do tonight is study. I don't actually have to study. I don't know why I said that. All I'm gonna do is read. So let's hop into that and see how far we can get into the Summer Pact. Hey there everyone, it is time for a bit of a Tuesday afternoon update. The sun is already setting, obviously that's why the lighting is so odd, but I don't have work tomorrow, which is really, really exciting. But for now, what I'm doing is submitting and just completing my last grad school assignment for this semester, which I am so pumped about. I have absolutely no motivation to do it, but I am gonna get through it so that tomorrow I can just enjoy the day and not have to worry about grad school for the next 4 weeks. So that is what we were doing, and then hopefully get a little bit more reading in tonight because I'm already a fair chunk of the way into The Summer Pact by Emily Giffin, and I'm loving it. I'm just loving my time with it. I'd love to give you all more thoughts, but I am going to finish this bad boy up now. I'm watching Rachel Catherine's newest weekly vlog to keep me entertained, and that is how I'm getting through it. That's how I make this more manageable. So I am going to do that and then hopefully give you all a bit more of an update, but if not, it's going to be so much fun tomorrow because no work. How great. Let's wrap this bad boy up. Happy Wednesday, everyone. I have done a lot this morning. It is a bank holiday, so I have the day off, which is amazing. I think that we should have a day off in the middle of the week, every single week. So I went on a run this morning. I went on a walk with my friend Claire, had a Target trip, and me and Dylan just got back from another walk. So I just showered because it is like 90 degrees outside and I have been sweating profusely. So we have changed into our comfy clothes and we are about to have some sit down time, which I am so excited about because it's what I've wanted to do all day. So let me tell you all a little bit about my current reads. So first we have The Summer Pact by Emily Giffin. I kind of gave you all the overview on it, but I want to share that I am really enjoying my time with this one. I think mostly because it just has such intense topics but are being handled really well. Like there are a lot of points that we're touching on, like mental health, we have divorce and relationships, and then also like infidelity, race. Like there's just a lot being covered in here, but I think being covered pretty well. But also, I love the concept of three friends who made this pact to each other because of something very traumatic that happened to them and still following through on it many years later. So now they're just bopping around, just taking some time for themselves and thinking and reflecting on life and just being reminded that even though times have been tough, it will always get better. You'll have your friends, you'll have like good experiences, and it's okay to take a step back. So I am flying through this one. I didn't read much last night because my grad school assignment took much longer than I thought it would, but it is done now. My 5th semester is complete. I received an A, and I don't have to worry about grad school until July 10th, which is amazing. I really needed this break, so I'm very happy to have it now, and hopefully we'll do a lot of reading in the meantime. So my goal is to finish this one today. It's only about 1 o'clock right now, so I have plenty of time to do so. So we're gonna do that as soon as we are done talking. And then my audiobook, which I have been listening to while I've been running primarily, and I love that because for me, when I run, I really struggle to keep my heart rate under control. So I don't need like hype music to get me excited. I need something to keep me calm, cool, collected, and distracted from what I'm doing. And this audiobook is really doing that. I'm really enjoying my time with this one. I think the audiobook is done really well so far, and I am still trying to figure out because it has footnotes, but it's told from our main female character's perspective. So I don't know how the footnotes are going to come into play a little bit later, like because the footnotes will say like I researched this. It's like who are you? So I wonder if that'll come up later. But otherwise, I love the creepy house vibes. Our main female character is now the house cleaner, and she's trying to kind of bring it back to life a little bit, and the house is definitely thanking her in its own way in response. But there are people who want to ask questions about Starling House, and it seems like they're a bit of danger. So we are kind of seeing how that's all going to play out because they are kind of bribing Opal with money because Opal is not very wealthy and she wants to send her brother to this private school. So she needs the money desperately. But she also feels a strange connection to Starling House, so she doesn't want to give anything up too much about it. So I'm really enjoying it so far. I think I'm about 30% of the way in, and I am going to see, I guess, what's going to happen next, how it's all going to progress. So those are my books so far. I am really struggling today because obviously I have the day off, but I also just finished my semester of grad school last night, so I wish that I could just go book shopping and just treat myself a little bit, but I am just trying to like rein it in. I'm on a book buying ban, and that's okay, and just read the books that I already have. So we're gonna go do that, caffeinate a bit, and see where the afternoon takes us. Okay, this is take 2 because the first time I just couldn't talk, so we're just trying it again. So a pretty exciting update because I finished one of the books that I was reading, but I also got book mail, but we're going to talk about the book mail first because that's super fun. So HarperCollins sent me over an advanced reader's copy of Our Kind of Game by Joanna Copeland, and this is a suspense novel debut. I'm not really sure how it's all going to play together, but I am excited for it. It's about 300 pages, and the reviews I've seen so far say that they basically didn't want to put the book down. They binged it because it was so addictive. So I am pumped, obviously, about this one. I love my thrillers and my suspense novels, so I am so excited about this one. So thanks HarperCollins. This is going to be great. It comes out on July 9th, so I am definitely going to make a big effort to go ahead and get it read before July. Which is crazy because all I have read this month are arcs. I think I've read one book, like physically, that wasn't an arc, and now I'm just adding another arc to the shelf. So July is a big new release month, so I guess that makes sense that I'm reading all arcs right now. But wow, I am not tackling anything over there on that TBR shelf, but hopefully next month we'll get back to it. And yesterday I did end up finishing Emily Giffen's The Summer Pact, and I ended up giving it 4 stars. This book touched on so many heavier topics, but was kind of talked about them not super in depth. We covered a lot, but it was very surface level. And I kind of appreciated that because we got to talk about them and acknowledge them without having to be completely depressed with all of the things that are kind of wrong in our country and what can be wrong with us sometimes. So I really appreciated that. But other than that, I really just love the concept of three friends who have had something very traumatic happen to them and then sticking true to their word and coming back together to just remember why they have a reason to live and be able to go and do something fun like go on a vacation together and just kind of recenter themselves. So I had a great time with this. I'm really excited for it to come out on July 9th. I think it's going to be a good one and definitely really quick paced. I like that we had the three different POVs of the characters too. I felt like they were all really fleshed out. So that was really fun, and we got a little bit of romance in there too, which I just eat up. So yes, definitely put this one at the top of your list for when it comes out. And then the last reading update, I'm about 50% of the way into the audiobook for Starling House now, and I am just so confused about where we're going to go from here. I feel like a lot of the grand reveal has kind of happened, so I don't understand how we're going to keep going after this or where the book is going to take us, so I'm not sure, but I'm still really enjoying my time with it. The gothic vibes are immaculate. I love basically the lore, I would say, behind the stories within this town are so creepy, are just so creepy, and I am loving it so much. Also, I think it's very interesting because everybody's like, oh, like they look at this book and they're like, oh, it's super short, about 300 pages, it's a quick read. And no, it's not. No, it's not, and I'm gonna tell you why, because these margins, I don't know if you can tell, but like it's the entire page. Like there is no room for anything else like a normal book. So this audiobook is 12 hours. Like it is not a short read. It is not a quick read. So just know that, I guess, going in, it's not bad, but like I think your expectations is definitely not going to meet your reality if you're thinking that this is going to be a breeze to get through. And those are all of my reading updates. I am about to start, well, I guess I have to tell you all what I'm going to read next. So I'm actually going to be reading a book for my book club. We are all going to a river house this weekend, so I'm really excited about that, to get to hang out with them in a different setting. And we are going to be reading The Two of Us by Taylor Torres, and this is a Kindle Unlimited book. I think it's just going to be a romance. I think it said Maine too, so I mean that's a cool setting. I'm not super excited about it, but the things you do for book club, right? So I'm going to start that tonight, but first I need to work out and pack for this weekend and make sure that we are ready to go. And so we're going to go do that. So let's hop to it. Hey there, friends. It is actually quite a few days later. We went into the weekend and we had book club down at the river, and it was so much fun, and I just had no time to vlog at all. We were just all catching up and hanging out, so I just did not vlog or read literally at all. So there was nothing to update you all on anyway, but since we are kind of at the beginning of the week again, I have decided that this isn't going to be a weekly vlog. We are just going to call it a reading vlog and then be able to finish the 3 books that I've set out for in this video. So first and foremost, let me tell you about The Two of Us by Taylor Torres. This is, I think I told you all, our book club pick. It needs to be read by Wednesday, and at this point I'm about 70 to 80% into it, but I don't think I gave you all an overview of what it is. So this is a Kindle Unlimited romance book, and I am so sorry about all of the changes in the light right now, but we are following our main female character, and we open on her being on basically just a complete bender, but this has been her life apparently for the past 7 years. She ran away from her small town called Speck Lake and ran to New York City and kind of just reestablished herself there and hasn't been back to her small town since, until she finds out that she has a family issue that's going on and she needs to return. So she goes back and she has to face her family stuff, but then she also has to face the boy next door, who we can see through the then and now timelines basically grew up as one of her best friends, and maybe a little bit something more, but we kind of see how that progresses as the story goes on. So I have a couple of thoughts about this one because I think that it's written well, but I don't really enjoy our main female character very much. And I think that's mainly just because she's kind of the workaholic type, which I don't really mind, but she is just so stubborn and it feels like she does a lot of things without reason. So maybe that's not being as clearly communicated as it should be. But also this book makes me so anxious. Like I have no idea why, and I maybe honestly it's because I'm at the 80% point now and I have an hour left in the book and I have still no idea what exactly drove her away from this like small town. No idea. We still haven't gotten to that point yet, so it makes me think that the resolution isn't going to be as satisfying as I want it to be, because we're basically going to be told and then in the next chapter it should be fixed and then we won't really get the kind of closure that I think I'm going to need. So this whole time we've been building up and building up, hoping to get there, but I'm still not there. I hope I'll finish it tonight and it won't be that kind of like unsatisfactory ending, but I also don't have super high hopes for it. Also, this isn't dual POV, and when that isn't the case, it can be done really well, but it's very hard to read our main male character or the love interest. I just have no idea what he's thinking, and it's very interesting because she keeps getting wrapped up in his ongoings when it's her family that has brought her back to this place, and it doesn't seem like she's spending a lot of time on that, kind of grieving or dealing with what's going on. So it's just kind of iffy to me. I don't know. I think it's sitting at like a 3-star, and I think it would have to be something super insane to change that. On the other hand, we have Starling House by Alex E. Harrow. I am also at the like 70-80% point of this book, and I'm obsessed. Actually, this is absolutely phenomenal. I have loved the pacing, the characters, the overall vibe, because we have this really good Southern Gothic feeling to it, and we have kind of the extraordinary going on in here, and we have the haunted house, but also it's like its own entity. And then basically we have the warden of that house, who is the main love interest. And I would equate this very similarly, like if Ninth House, like if you liked Ninth House, which was more dark academia, I think that you would really enjoy Starling House, which has a very similar female main character who also is involved with the protection of some extraordinary thing that's going on. But she is fierce. Nobody expects her to do anything or expect anything from her. And she starts to have kind of like these moral dilemmas where she starts to kind of just do whatever she needs to get by, but then starts to really care about something. And then all of a sudden her priorities shift. And I love watching that development. I think it's done extremely well, and I'm just loving every single second with this book. And I think we're about to go into something that's really intense, and I'm just so excited for it, but I'm also terrified because I'm going to be extremely sad if I don't have a happy ending. So that's that. I am obsessed, and I think that it's going to be a 5-star read. I think if I was reading this during fall too, I would be even more obsessed with it, but maybe I'll do a reread, who knows, because I was also looking at trying to get a special edition copy of this because I'm that obsessed with it that I want to sell this book of the month one and get a special edition because they're stunning, quite frankly. So since I only have a little bit left of each of these, I'm hoping to wrap this up in the next couple of days, but I'll definitely be back next to give you all my final thoughts, definitely on the two of us, and then maybe in a few days on Starling House, because it's still, even though I'm 77% of the way through the audiobook, there's still about 3 hours left of it, which is so just insane to me. But I am just going to enjoy it and I'm not going to rush it. So I will see you all then. And we are already back to close this vlog off. I definitely thought that it was going to be a bit longer, but I finished both books, well, one last night and one this morning, so let me tell you all about my final thoughts. Alright, so The Two of Us by Taylor Torres, I ended up giving this a 3-star. I thought it was a fun time, but definitely not my favorite time. The main female character was just so she was just the worst to me. She did not seem to want to get better. She did not seem to want to work on herself, and I really struggle with people like that personally. I know that grief has its own way of manifesting for everyone, but in this case, she was just hurting a lot of people besides herself with it, and it was just really sad to watch everybody else suffer. She also was the kind of person who would say, oh my gosh, my relationship with so-and-so is so challenging, but the only thing that was challenging about it was herself, and that was really hard to witness as well. And then the last thing I think that was making me anxious the whole time I was reading this was the fact that I did not get a ton of resolution because we didn't figure out the reason why she was in such bad shape, why she was grieving so much, or what exactly happened until like 90%. So we didn't have that time to watch her reflect on everything or really grow from it, but all of a sudden, you know, the epilogue is however many years in the future and everything's fine. So we didn't get a lot, I think, of growth from her. Maybe we got the end result, but we didn't get to watch her go through it. So for me, that just is not what I'm looking for. So honestly, I probably would not recommend this book. It's not my favorite. Maybe the book club girlies, because I read this for book club, will have different opinions on it, but for me, it just was not the book for me, and I think that there are just better romances to read. However, if you are looking for a Southern Gothic book, this is the one to be picking up. I loved this book. This was a 5-star read for me, and I don't say that lightly. And it was a 5-star read because it was an audiobook, and the audiobook was done extremely well, even with just one narrator. Alexi Harrow has definitely redeemed herself. I read The 10,000 Doors of January earlier this year and didn't really enjoy it that much, so I didn't have high hopes going into this, but it definitely exceeded all of my expectations. This book was just so good. I felt like our characters were so fleshed out. I loved the gothic components, like the demons in here. So good. And then just the magic involved and the little bit of the romance that we got, and also found family. So there were just so many good things going on in here. Like, I could not recommend this highly enough, and if you want to take a whack at it, I definitely think the audiobook was a really good way to consume it, because like I said, these margins are just so insanely small, and it was really hard for me to like look at that because I knew it would take me like 2 minutes per page, and that would make reading it just a bit more frustrating for me. However, I will say that if you are going to listen to the audiobook, to go back and check out some of the art on the end pages, or like the end of the chapters. I think that that was just really stunning and contributes even more to that kind of gothic vibe. So we ended up having a 3, 4, and 5-star read in this video, all from different genres. So I think that this is a huge win, people. I think that this was a really well done reading vlog, if I do say so myself. So hopefully you got a good recommendation from this video. I definitely have a new favorite of my own, and I'm definitely recommending everybody pick up the Summer Pact by Emily Giffin when it comes out on July 9th. And that is all for this reading vlog. So let me know what you ended up reading in this vlog, and if you've read any of the books that I've talked about in here, I would love to hear y'all's opinions. And I will see you all in the next one. Bye!